What's going on, guys? It's Hal. Welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a in-depth look at Awakened Rain in the Awakened Rain Advanced Unit Guide. We're going to go over his stats, his important skills, how you should go about using them, what sort of weird things that you can do with him, and what to look forward to in the future, along with a few builds for you guys. So let's get into it right here with his stats real quick. You can see his HP is absolutely insane. He's got 390 HP that you can pot with a 3,856 base health. This allows you to go above and beyond the health pool. He gets 4,000 and such HP base before gear passes or anything else. His spirit, which is his most important stat, he gets 34 spirit that you can increase that by with more spirit pots. So 153 plus 34, boys and girls, is 187 base spirit. Absolutely insane there. His defense isn't the greatest, but it's not really terrible either, floating around like 165 spirit or defense. So with that note, boys and girls, let's go down in here. His elemental resistances, he doesn't have anything natively until you get a certain passive, as we went over before. His equipment selection is insane. He's got knives, swords, great swords, hammers, spears, flails, and fist weapons. This allows him to equip a bunch of different things, a lot of really weird items. Will give you like HP percent or elemental resistances from like Ulrich's Kukri is a dagger that you can throw on him as well. He's got light shield, heavy shield, hats, helms, clothing, light armor, heavy armor, all of the good stuff that you would want to have access to on your tank. All right, the most important thing that you can put on him is Crimson Sabre. We'll get to that in the build, but basically it gives him Crimson Soul, which is for Awakened Rain, and Vagrant Knight Rain only, but it gets 30% HP and MP just from having Crimson Soul equipped. And if you need some Paralyze Resist, you can throw on Rain's Clothes. Doesn't give him a bunch of crazy defense, but it will give you access to Paralyze Resistance there with a little bit of MP and a tiny bit of spirit there, guys. So onto his skills. What skills are you going to be using? What skills are the most important things to be taking a look at when using Awakened Rain? Well, first and foremost is Energy Wall. This is what makes him an AoE magic tank. A lot of other tanks have similar skills to this. Energy Wall, chance to protect allies from magic damage, 80% chance, so that's very good against single target attacks that don't go after your whole party. Because if you're trying to tank an AoE magic attack with an AoE magic cover, it's almost always gonna proc. You're almost always gonna cover your whole party because your cover is checked on every single person when there is an AoE attack going on. Now, if there's a single target attack like Igan's one-man punch, this will give you an 80% chance to cover the Igan one-man punch versus other tanks who have like a 50% chance of covering magic damage like Mistday. They both will be more than sufficient, will almost always proc against AoE attacks. The difference that you're going to see is against single target magic attacks that come out for anything else. So with that being said, Energy Wall, 80% chance to proc, 50 to 70% damage mitigation. He can reduce the damage he takes by up to 70%. That's absolutely insane. Crazy. I think him and Bosch and Shao have this, whereas Mistday and Schilt, they only ever will reduce the damage by 50%. So the 5-star magic tanks get a little bit of extra damage mitigation compared to the 4-star ones. Now, in addition to that, he does have Standout here as another tanking option. He has Standout here, increased chance of targeted by 100% for 2 turns to the caster, and then mitigate damage taken by 30% for 3 turns to the caster. This is mitigate all damage taken by 30%. So this does stack with cover mitigation. All right, so if you have him AoE covering and then you use Standout the next turn, you can be taking even less damage. You can get that 50 to 70% magic damage mitigation from the cover. All right, and then you can get, well, it's not even magic damage mitigation, it's just cover mitigation. It's his own thing. So then you can get mitigate all damage taken with Standout, and then the turn after that, you can swipe down and guard, and you'll have cover mitigation, all damage mitigation, and guard mitigation. Those all stack. You'll be taking next to no damage. You can take like 90-something% damage reduction. Absolutely insane. Now, Standout's damage mitigation is all damage mitigation. So if you're using stuff like Siege and Cole's damage mitigation stance, or like Riku's Hyper Null All, or 9S's Spread Shield, they won't stack together, okay? So only one type of each mitigation. There are 5 different kinds, though. There's magic damage mitigation, physical damage mitigation, all damage mitigation, cover mitigation, and then guarding down for mitigation as well. So another skill that we're going to be using a lot, Complete Focus. Not the one we're using. We're using Complete Awakening, not Complete Focus, Complete Awakening. Increase attack, defense, magic, and spirit by 200% for 3 turns to the caster. Mitigate all damage taken by 30% for 3 turns to the caster. And then heal yourself for 6,000 HP base with a 15 times healing mod, as well as 20 MP base heal with a 0.2 healing mod on your MP there. So this costs 36 LB crystals. You will be spamming this probably a decent amount. You can keep your energy wall up and you'll complete Awakening. This is going to give you a bonanza amount of additional spirit, guys. So that's insane there. And then the HP and MP heal should not be taken lightly, because you're going to be stacking a lot of spirit on your Rain, ideally, unless you're going for some sort of elemental resistance build. And that 15 times healing mod is quite a bit, and the 6,000 HP heal base is quite a bit as well. So you can get like 5,000 HP heal per turn with your Rain off of just complete Awakening, and the 36 LB crystal won't be that much of a hassle to get to. Rising Rain, you can actually do a little bit of chaining with your Rain, a little bit of chain weaving too. It's a physical attack that does magic damage. So this works a lot like Rem's Dagger Boomerang. So you can utilize dual wield with Rising Rain, get him in there, maybe chain a little bit on your off turn, maybe throw a Bowie knife on him if you want to with some high tide. We'll get into that in the build section though. But Rising Rain may be something you do use, maybe something you don't use. Magical Distraction, if you need a very strong magic break, look no further. 60%, extremely strong. It's the highest, it's tied for the highest in the game right now as a skill-based break. So we have like Lid, Ramza, and now we have Awakened Rain with a 60% magic break, and it's 5 turns, guys, so that's insane. Complete Focus, 200% spirit increase for 2 turns to the caster, and then gives you Unleashed Focus, which is a 10 times 1-hit AoE multiplier attack that uses your spirit for your damage skill. So this is kind of cool if you want to do a little bit of chain capping at the end of the day with Awakened Rain. You can get that 200% spirit focus buff right there, which is going to help you do more damage because the 10 times multiplier is based off of your spirit. So if you have some really good gear, you can hit like 10,000, not 10,000, 1,000 spirit, and then smack them real hard with your spirit bomb, you know, if I do say so myself. Outside of that, nothing else is super crazy here. Escort Leader, not the greatest. Spectral Field can let you counter a little bit if you have like a physical provoke tank on your team. I'm looking forward to some people use Awakened Rain with Demon Rain. That's a wombo combo because they'd be counterattacking for days, checking each other's backs, keeping them safe. All right, now some traits to keep note of here. A bunch of them are just defense and spirit buffs. So Guardian Spirit, 30% defense and spirit buff with a passive chance to cover someone for magic attacks, okay? Awakening Power increases your HP and ME by 50%, and then 30% attack, defense, magic, and spirit as well. And remember, like I said, his HP after pots is like 4K, so this bumps it up to like 6,100, something like that. It's crazy. And then 30% more of all the other stats. Blood of Eldor, if you don't have like a super strong buff, this will probably this will work for you. Your Rain's gonna fall below 50% HP, and when he's tanking really heavy hits. So this will probably help a little bit. If your buffer dies or something, he's gonna buff himself back up, but like nothing game breaking. Blazing Technique, auto refresh, that's fine. Shield Expertise, all right, 20% defensive spirit equipped with a heavy or light shield. All right, you can't stack it because no dual wield shield. Sorry, where's my dual wield shield character at? Blazing Soul, 100% LB fill rate is actually insane on this guy because you want to get to that complete Awakening or to get to his limit burst. Extra stats from the Esper passive here, that's fine. Armor Expertise, if you're wearing light or heavy armor, you get 30% defense and spirit. Okay, overall, if you proc all of the expertise, armor passives, and stuff like that, he gets 110% defense and spirit. So you can't be an AoE physical cover tank unless you have like Inocle or something, but he does get a bunch of defense bonuses too, and so you can provoke with him with his 2-turn provoke with 30% damage mitigation. You can use that too as well. You can have him tank physical attacks and AoE cover at the same time without using and resorting to something like Golem and Moogle Plushie. So that's some other niche that you can use with Awakened Rain. Transformational Power, once per turn basically, because it's an 80% chance to proc when he takes magic damage, which is what his job is. He will get 7 LB crystals. So with the high tide and transformational power, your LB gauge is going to be going, you're going to charge that spirit bomb up so fast, you're going to blow people away. All right, so that's his counters there. He's also got Raise. That's pretty decent there. And then Blood Linkage, like I said before, magic damage 12.4 times multiplier with Scaling Spirit to all enemies. It's a 24 hitter. You can like kind of chain this in with a couple of the weirder skills in the game. I think this kind of chains with CG Sakura's Limit Burst, but you can chain weave it in. You can chain weave this in with like 2 CG heals going off. The multiplier on it right now isn't insane, 12.4, but as a 7-star, it goes up to a 26 times multiplier. So at level LB 30 instead of 25, you level it up to level 30 instead of 25, and it goes up to a 26 times mod. So definitely think about that. Now we're gonna go in and we're gonna check out some builds. All right, so we have 3 different unique builds. We have like an all-out tank 5-star build. We have a non-5-star based TMR build, just to show you how strong he can get without very many hard to get TMRs. And then we have a cool unique build that I came up with. So this is gonna be the all-out build. He hits 16,000 HP, 892 spirit. This build goal calculated value, we're using FFBE equip. By the way, this is for effective hit points against magic, so you want a combination of both HP and spirit to take the least amount of damage, or be able to take the most amount of damage possible, right? To take the most amount of damage possible is a little bit different than take the least amount of damage. So we have Crimson Sabre, and these little key things right here, the purple, it's purple for me, but we're on the chalkboard, so you guys can't see the purple. That's Ruggles, I do believe, and they added in the ability to add item world enhancements. So you can't get these item world enhancements yet because Crimson Sabre is a great sword, but eventually you will be able to get item world enhancements, and you can get HP and attack plus 15%, HP plus 15%, and HP plus 12%, all on the Crimson Sabre. So you can see how strong this Sabre can be for him. That is 72% HP on one weapon. So awesome. Everyone has access to Crimson Sabre. You just got to get lucky in item world. Now we have Zedrich, Frozen Crown, Grand Armor, Double Jake's Pirate Ring, Thirst for Survival, Protector of Lapis, Adventure 5, and actually Heavy Chimera here, and Carbuncle for this build here. It's a traditional tank and spank build, you know, 892 spirit. Pretty cool. If you get a 200% spirit buff up, it will go up by like another 372 spirit. So yes, he's going to hit really hard, and he's going to tank a lot of damage, and it's going to be great the whole time. And then obviously if you go up against elemental damage, you swap some of the HP and spirit stuff off for the elemental resistance stuff, and you'll be happy. So this next build here is going to be a non-5-star TMR, except for his own TMR, because if you have Awakened Rain, you can, you know, probably get his own TMR eventually. Build. Now it does have TMRs in it, but it's not like a bunch of 5 stars like the previous one. So we still have Crimson Sabre in here. It's enhanced a little bit differently. It's got HP to attack, HP plus 15%, and then spirit plus 15%. As you notice, our spirit on this build is a little bit higher, our HP is a little bit less. All right, now we have the shield from the Elephakir's trial. We have the bomb engagement ring from that trial as well. It does have ice and water weakness on it, so just take it off during those sorts of events. But even with that ice down and that water down, we have Shiva and Frozen Crown on, so we're actually resistant to ice in this build, and only minus 20% weak to water. We have Ozetta's armor, no HP like the Grand Armor has, but still 65 spirit, which is an insane amount of spirit, and it needs to be, you know, heavy armor or light armor to proc our 20%, or maybe it's 30% defense and spirit passive that Awakened Rain has. You don't want to put a robe on him. Archer's Talisman, good stats. Thirst for Survival, heavy armor arts, Adventure 5, and Protector of Lapis. If you don't have Protector of Lapis, you can take that off and just put Chimera, the Chimera TMR on that the previous build had, and you'll be doing okay. Shiva's here as well, and as you can see, the stats we hit 15,461 HP and 910 spirit before buffs. That's crazy compared to the fully decked out TMR Rain. A little bit higher HP, a little bit lower spirit. Very, very, very similar in the amount of effective HP that you have here. The first one is 1,458,000, no, 14,589,552 damage that this guy can take. 14 million. Okay, this guy can also take 14 million. Right? He's just 500,000 damage less he can take. That's it. That's the difference between an all 5-star out TMR'd crazy Awakened Rain versus his own TMR. That's it. So you can see the difference there. Not too much. Okay. So this last build is a little bit cool build. It's based around using Bowie Knife. It's got, you trade off some survivability for some ease of access on your Limit Burst and on Complete Awakening, and it lets you actually chain a little bit better as a chaining partner or a chain weaver if you so desire. So Bowie Knife here is going to take the spot of your shield, so you will lose the 20% defense and spirit passive on the shield, but it's really not 20% defense and spirit, it's really 20% spirit, because you're not really going to be using that defense bonus that much on Awakened Rain, because he's really going to be used as a magic AoE cover tank. So you lose whatever is on the shield and the 20% passive proc from Awakened Rain's passives, but the trade-off you get is you actually get to use Bowie Knife because you can use daggers, and you get to enhance the Bowie Knife with Item World. So you can put High Tide on that. Okay, that's going to stack with your already pre-existing High Tide. So you're going to have 200% High Tide, so you're going to be getting triple the crystals than you normally would, and you're going to get the counter for the 7 LB crystals per turn. So you can see how this leads to you getting Complete Awakening super fast, The trade-off is not that big. You still get HP plus 15 and Spirit plus 15% on the Bowie knife. So if you don't have like Zedrich or anything, you're actually going to go up in HP by 5% compared to the Elfakira shield. But you're going to lose a lot of Spirit because you're going to lose the Spirit passive on Awakened Rain and this raw Spirit on the shield. But it's not that big of a deal because the amount of damage that you can take overall is 13,812,084 from the build calculator. Just a little bit lower than the other builds. This is like an all-in on TMR build kind of, but it's really not that big of a deal. So then we have Crimson Sabre enhanced with HP to attack, HP, and Spirit. Then Frozen Crown Grand Armor makes a reappearance. 2 Jake's Pirate Rings, or they could be Arsha Talismans, or you could go down to the Arsha Talisman Bomb Ring if you don't have any of that. Thirst for Survival, Heavy Chimera, Vagrant Knight actually from Vagrant Knight Rain is good here. Crazy, huh? And then Protector of Lapis as well makes an appearance here too. We're going to be using Shiva still here. That's really for the Spirit, the raw Spirit. You can put whatever Esper you want on it. And like as always with all of these builds, if you're facing elemental damage, go ahead and gear up, lose a little Spirit, lose a little HP, get that 100% elemental resistance immunity, and OTK people take no damage basically. But the other thing that the Bowie knife does let you do is remember his energy ray skill, whatever it's called, actually is a physical attack that deals magic damage. You still have a decent amount of Spirit here, 858 Spirit, 16,000 health, and get 200% Spirit buff really easily with that Complete Awakening. You're going to be able to fire off your LB. That's not going to get benefit from dual wield, but his energy ray attack will, because it's a physical attack that does magic damage. Got a 3.6 times multiplier, but you can get some damage out with your Awakened Rain on free turns. That's going to be super awesome for you. Chain finish with his LB every once in a while. Help your chainers build their chain up a little bit faster as well. In the future, Awakened Rain gets many more things to add into his arsenal. 2 of them are cooldown skills. One of them is I think it's a 3-turn cooldown that you can use on turn 1. It gives Awakened Rain minus 90% magic damage taken for 1 turn, so you use this every 3 turns. It allows you to take a bunch of damage, cross through thresholds really easy. The other one is also available on turn 1. It only has a 2-turn cooldown, and what it does is it gives your whole party resistance to all status elements, including stop. I think the only thing it doesn't make your team resist is charm, actually, and it's got a 2-turn cooldown, and the buff lasts for 3 turns, so that one can always be up regardless. He also gets a couple more chaining skills. He gets like an earth and a fire chaining skill. I think you can chain it with, I've heard, like maybe Transterra's Chaos Wave and stuff like that. So you get some chaining partners. It's a 7-hit skill with 8 frames, so it's 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. So you get some elemental chaining skills, and those are also physical attacks that use Spirit as your magic, or Spirit. They do physical attacks that do magic damage, and they use Spirit as your offensive stat. So he gets more stuff like that. His LB goes up to a 26 times multiplier. He gets even more defense and Spirit and HP passives galore. He does a lot of cool things. If you want to see a full in-depth thing on 7-star Awakened Rain, I do have a sneak peek series that I'll link down in the description for you guys, where we looked at Vagrant Knight Rain and 6 and 7-star Awakened Rain, I do believe. But hopefully this gave you some solid information on how to use your Awakened Rain, see the strength of the unit in comparison to some of the other ones. And then if you want, like I said before, more information, go check that out in the sneak peek playlist section, as well as other stuff out there in the playlist section. If you want to see featured content, go ahead and hit that sub button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.